Welcome to the Astrology Magic Podcast, where deep truth meets radical transformation. I'm Rachel, your astrologer and guide, here to speak the kind of truths that rattle around in your head until they land in your body and change your life. This podcast is not here to meet you where you're at. It's here to meet you where your soul is begging to go. I don't do light and fluffy. I do real, raw, cellular level evolution through astrology, presence, embodiment, and self-honesty. If you're tired of superficial spirituality and ready to live in alignment with your highest self, even when it's uncomfortable, you're in the right place. Let's drop in. You may have heard before that your worth is in your beingness. But how many times you hear something but don't actually embody it? You're like, yeah, that's nice, but I have to pay my bills. Well, if there was ever a time to believe that statement, it is right now. So, currently, Uranus and Taurus is creating an exact sextile that's a harmonious opportunity that you have to take advantage of. It's not just going to happen naturally, but you have this opportunity in the cosmos to break through to a new way of relating to wealth, a new way of relating to value and worth and your self-worth and your beingness, and playing the long game and moving at the pace of nature and all of these things that has been completely trained out of society for a really long time now, probably like hundreds of years. But we're coming back to it. And Uranus and Taurus, Uranus, the great awakener, it wants to break us free. It wants to shake you awake, basically, and it's not always comfortable. Is in that exact sextile to the North Node in Pisces this week, next week, and what's also hanging out with the North Node is Saturn. Saturn, the planet of responsibility, of discipline, of building in the material world, of boundaries. And it's in Pisces with the North Node. So I keep talking about the North Node because the North Node, whenever we have planets making a connection to the North Node, this is a karmic destiny point. This is something that has always, it's like the highest expression of where you're meant to go. Whatever's happening right now, it's wanting you to surrender to it. It wants you to surrender to your beingness as your greatest value. Surrender to the long game. Surrender to divine timing. And it can be scary for so many people because we've been taught that the world is logical. And I will share some examples from my own life because I have come to find that the world is anything but logical. Yeah, it's logical in really small ways that we can currently see, but it's really not that logical because there's so much going on behind the scenes that you can't see, and it's all based on energy. Actually, the world is way more energetic than it is logical. The logic follows the energy, not the other way around. So you can't force and logic your way to getting everything you want, So I'll give an example of my own life because I think that's the best way I can really explain what I'm talking about. So I was a very responsible person from a very young age. It's why I begged my parents to let me go to weight loss camp when I was younger, when I was obese and didn't have any friends, because I just always knew that you can do something to change your reality. The thing is that what that weight loss camp taught me, for example, is that it taught me to overcomplicate things. It taught me that more is more exercise is more, less food is more weight loss. It was almost like pushing past the nature of who I really was and keeping me disconnected from my body's natural rhythm. And one of my biggest first breakthroughs on my healing journey happened 16 years after that weight loss camp, after I completely overcomplicated nutrition, I overcomplicated it to the point where I would stay up until 3 a.m. all throughout middle school and high school researching how to stay thin and trying everything possible to stay thin. It continued on when I got to college and I got my degree in nutrition and I worked my ass off. I graduated summa cum laude. And because I put everything I had into finding the secret to staying thin, the secret to being healthy. And I thought that more was more. And what ended up happening was I graduated college. I thought that would give me the answers, and it never gave me the answers. And so then I took it another step further. Then I was like, oh, well, maybe I need to learn a more functional way, a more like out of the box, not school way to be healthy. And so I became a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And they claim to be this like holistic, more natural, like don't listen to school, like we're the right way to gain, like find that health. And still, I did not find it. If anything, I just got more and more anxious. The more I learned, the more I tried, the more I tried to control the outcome and use my fucking brain. And I remember there was just this breaking point where I had been studying nutrition and how to be thin for so long, and I was exhausted and nothing worked. And I was just like, I've tried everything, basically. There's no answer. There can't be. And I gave up and I surrendered and I hit that release point. And soon after that, I just started eating whole foods, organic foods, moving my body, just listening to my body because I couldn't bear to overextend myself anymore. And in 3 months, my body weight normalized to a weight that previously was so hard for me to maintain. And now I was maintaining it with ease. I felt more connection to my body. I could feel how food felt in my body for the first time. I could feel why I was so tired for so many years. Like in college, I was always exhausted. And it's because I was trying too hard. I was using my brain too much and I wasn't using my body. I wasn't listening to my body. I thought I couldn't trust my body. I thought I couldn't trust the natural signals that came up because I would overeat or I would binge or whatever, I'd eat a whole pizza. Like that's what my brain was telling myself. If I really listened to myself, I would ruin everything. But I got the exact opposite. I ate when I was hungry. I stopped when I was full. I ate organic, nourishing foods. And before you knew it, everything I wanted fell into my lap, health-wise. And ever since then, I just don't give a fuck about what I eat. Like I eat really organic, natural foods. I know I'll always eat that because it feels good, because I've built a true relationship with my nature. Same thing with working out. The last couple weeks, I didn't work out that much, despite I'm even going on vacation soon. Old me would be like, you have to work out to have a hot body to go on vacation. But I know that if I listen to my body's going to look way hotter than if I overextend myself and work out more now. And so I have such a relaxed relationship with food in my body and working out now. One that I know I'll always eat healthy and I'll always move my body because I do it from a place of feeling aligned and good and healthy, and I feel abundant in health, to be honest, truly. So now I've recently learned a second place where that applies, and it's with money. And it's with aligning my career with my passions. And I have learned how simple life is. Like, and the simpler you make it, the more it works out. That's what Taurus is about. Uranus and Taurus awakening us. Scorpio, the opposite sign of Taurus. I have a lot of scorpionic energy in me because my sun is opposite Pluto in my second house. My sun's in the 8th house, which is associated with Scorpio. So I lived very scorpionic, very control the transformation, more is more. But my path was always to come into balance, to transform, yes, but from simplicity. And even my gene keys tells me I am here to teach people that simplicity is the way. Simplicity is the reason I can hold so much fear that comes up and still not act on it anymore until I transform into something else. That's why I talk about that on this podcast all the time. Don't react from your fearful emotions. Don't react from scarcity. Don't react from only having so much time and thinking that you have to do something because of some reason your brain tells you that that's not the way forward. It's actually the way to keep you stuck in the same patterns. Because I've learned this lesson so many times, it is undeniable to me at this point. And so anyways, so I feel like I've kind of got off track. So let me get back on track because I want to tell you another story about how I've aligned everything, like my business. I met my soulmate, Ryan. Everything feels so... I've just been having my mind blown the last couple weeks, okay? All right. There's been so many times in my life where I've hit a rock bottom and then been forced to just be bored as fuck and live in this like existential boredom and just be present. And every time I allow myself to go so deep into that presence in existential boredom and I don't try to change my life or fix my life is the moment when I get completely aligned on a new path that is so in alignment with me. And so it's showed me that simplicity, like beingness, is literally the key to you aligning with your highest timeline. So the last few months, I've really been doing this, but it's been really intense the last 2 weeks. I have stopped doing anything I don't want to do at any moment in time. I won't even record a podcast consistently if I don't want to. I'm just saying no to so much and only saying yes to the very rare and few things I want to do. And a lot of stories have come up the last 4 months, and it's been, oh my God, is this really going to work? And then me telling myself, well, it's worked so many times before. I'll give you some more stories after this one. And it's me been going back and forth. I'm like, this is the moment I truly surrender. Because that's also in my gene keys, that I am here to surrender and surrender and surrender. And that's how I teach people how simple life is. And I'm finally getting it all to click. Like I've known my gene keys for a long time, but at this moment in time, I'm like, oh, I fucking get it. So the last 4 months, I've barely been doing anything. I literally have been just doing whatever the fuck I want. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to form relationships with people. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just listening to what I want to do in every moment. And what that's brought me to the last couple of weeks is all of a sudden the last couple of weeks I decided to quit cannabis. I use cannabis for sleep. I'm going to Italy, so I didn't want to like all of a sudden not be able to use cannabis the first day I was in Italy, and it kind of ruins my appetite. And you know, I'm a Taurus. The whole reason I'm going to Italy is for the food. You sure as shit I was not going to ruin my appetite by not being able to smoke cannabis the first night I was there. So I quit a couple weeks ago so that I'd be okay by the time I go there. I use cannabis for sleep, or I have for a long time. Oh my God, this is another story I have to tell after this. I have to side note this. There's so many examples I have, I'm telling you. Okay, so I quit cannabis and obviously I could not sleep. So my sleep the last couple weeks has been horrendous. So horrendous that I can't go to the gym. I mean, I can walk and be in nature, but heavy lifting or anything. And hold on, I'm always like trying to listen to my throat and allow it to calm down. I haven't really been able to work. Like, I haven't really wanted to record any podcasts until right now. I just haven't been able to do anything. And so I've literally been almost sitting in this like extreme existential boredom because I'm not sleeping very well. I have no energy to do anything, work out, talk to people, talk to clients, anything. And my body started being like, oh my God, Rachel, you're about to go on a trip. You probably should have gotten a lot of things done before you go on this big trip. And I realized today that I've done jack shit the last 2 weeks, yet I had more opportunities, like bigger opportunities come into my life than ever. Soul-aligned opportunities, and I haven't had to lift a finger. Like partnerships, like all of a sudden all of these partnerships are coming in that I can collaborate with people who really feel aligned. Things I would have never thought about logically. And so it's just like more evidence I've put into my evidence vault that it's not about what I do. It's literally about how much I nourish myself, how much I slow down, and how much I treat my body like I sent an email about this the other day. Like I treat my body like a $500 million painting. I would never fuck with a $500 million painting. Like you treat that $5 million painting like it's God. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't force it to work out. I mean, maybe that's a bad example. But you wouldn't force a $500 million painting to do weird things past its point to prove its value. It's already a $500 million painting. It just needs to own that it's a $500 million painting. And I've realized that the more I just treat myself with so much value, giving myself exactly what I need, that the universe keeps giving it back to me. And I know it might sound like, well, that's great, Rachel, but I have to pay my bills. I get it. I've just learned that the universe will always pay my bills as long as I do this. It's top priority. And it's top priority for you too. So this is the other story that's really cool. So I've had insomnia almost my whole life, but it got really bad when I was 15. Almost all of the coaching, all of the deep healing I've done has been for my insomnia. It was partly why I was so obsessed with nutrition and figuring out how to heal my body and all these different things. It's partly how I got into so much emotional release type things. And I've spent probably $100,000 trying to heal my sleep, going to everyone, and no one's been able to touch me, even the best of the best. And recently, over the last month, I got this message from me just sitting and being, what if you just take herbs aligned with the different planets and zodiac signs in your birth chart, and you don't make it mean anything, you just make this as easy as possible, and you return back to nature just like everything else you've done. And so I figured out I'm taking Sculpt Cap, I'm taking Passion Flower, and I'm taking California Poppy because they're connected to my birth chart. And I know that these are not quick fixes. I know they're long-term, right? Taurus. All these things I'm talking about are about the small beingness, the little changes, allowing nature to work with your body, not trying to force it to heal all of a sudden, not trying to force myself to heal my sleep with a million different amazing complex protocols. Those shit don't work in my experience. And maybe it's worked for you and that's cool, but what I've realized is that I've been taking them for a few weeks now, and for the first time, my sleep's starting to shift. And for the first time, I'm not putting pressure on something to change my sleep. I'm just like, and I enjoy taking these things because they taste really good. I got like glycerin tinctures for the herbs, and I enjoy taking them. It's simple, it's easy, and I plan on taking these for maybe the next 6 months, maybe a little longer, but I'm not putting pressure on it like I have before because I spent all this money and I have to do this protocol and all these different things. And it's like actually working. Like actually. Like how fucking ridiculous is that? Like the simplest thing. And it's like, duh, Rachel, it's everything else you've learned in your life. It's always the simplest thing. And I think about like with Saturn being with the North Node, how Saturn, it inherently blocks us because we take things too seriously. We think we have to structure, we have to try so hard. This is what you have to do to get the result because this is what everyone else has said. But Saturn in Pisces wants you to listen to your energy. It wants you to surrender. It wants you to find a way that's actually connected to your energy and nature, especially with the sextile to Uranus and Taurus. It doesn't want you to just keep forcing and building and hustling and acting from frustration. And so I just have had this like giant embodiment now of simplicity in my life because I can't even tell you, like, simplicity and taking time off and trusting, following my fun and trusting the energy is how I became an astrologer. It's how I filled my first retreat with 14 people in 1 month when I never had any clients before to my name. Like, if I think about everything that has aligned me in my life with something that felt like my highest path. Like when I met Ryan, I was in another existential boredom thing. I was working for my dad in 2017, and I was reaching this peak craziness while working for my dad because I was so bored. And I remember I was growing cannabis at the time and I was obsessed with cannabis. I had no friends who liked to talk about cannabis like me. So I applied to a dispensary and Ryan was the first guy I met when I got there. And that's how we ended up dating. And he became, 8 years later, he's my soulmate through and through. Everything amazing that's come into my life has come through this way: simplicity and following my truth and being brave enough to wait. And that is what the astrology is giving you the opportunity right now, these next couple of weeks. Mars opposing Pluto, it's making you want to just keep pushing, but it's almost taking away your energy because it wants to deeply transform you. It wants to see that you can trust yourself, that you were built uniquely, and that's actually your greatest power. And that the more you slow down and trust who you are, like, gosh, I have so many fucking examples. Okay, one more example. Like, for example, I remember when I was younger and I lost weight and I was really studying a lot of nutrition in the beginning of that health journey. I thought to myself, oh, since I overcame childhood obesity, I should help other people overcome childhood obesity. But I remember at the time, I was like, but I don't want to. I just want to focus on myself. It's just fun to focus on myself and then just share my experience and have them figure it out on their own. Well, I've also learned recently, and it's come to my huge awareness, I'm a 6'2" manifesting generator. I'm not here to fix people. I'm not here to provide solutions for people. I'm here to just be a role model. And since I've recently realized that the last couple of years, the more I just talk about my experience, the more I attract people who don't want me to fix them, but they want me to mentor them and they want to fix themselves. And those are my favorite people to work with. Like, hands down, I fucking love those people. Those powerful people who know that they can do it on their own, but they just want my mentorship and then they want to figure it out on their own. Like, they want to know my astrology advice, what, like, my experiences, how I would think about it, and then they figure it out on their own. Those are the people who have gotten the best results with me. And so, like, it's like all of these things you've told yourself your whole life that you've been told that you can't do because it's not the nice thing to do or the good thing to do or the whatever thing to do. If you can drop all those stories right now and really come into the knowing that your presence, your beingness is going to give you all the answers that you fucking want and need. And it's going to come not through answers in the mind, but a feeling, a pull you get if you slow down enough. So that's what I wanted to share that's going on in the cosmos right now. Hopefully this podcast awakens something in you. If you'd like to apply to work with me one-on-one, I'll put the application down below. To apply, I really appreciate you getting a birth chart reading with me first, so I'll put the reading link down below as well. If you just want to be on your own journey but flow with the cosmos and not ever need to talk to me and be at your own pace, that's what my Higher Self Healing Codes course is for, is I teach you how to do the astrology on your own, not to become an astrologer, but how to work with ChatGPT and certain apps to align you with the astrology, and then you figure it out on your own. Because again, those are the people I work best with. So I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode.